Hey everyone, today I'm going to start a new series that I'm going to call Mom, What's for Dinner? Because that's a question I get asked a lot. And I figured, what better place to answer it than YouTube? This isn't going to be like a lot of instruction, more of an inspirational kind of showing you what we eat each day. And I always like getting a little peek into other people's lives and seeing what they're feeding their families. And so I just thought I would take a minute and kind of give you a shot each night, what we're having for dinner, and how maybe I'll show you a little bit of how I prepare it. I think I'm going to toss a couple of lunches in there too, just to help a mama out, because I know there are seasons where you eat lots of macaroni and cheese, lots of popcorn chicken, lots of peanut butter and jellies, lots of cereals. So just handing that out for you to digest it however you want. Maybe it's just a good way for you to decompress like it is for me, to know that I'm not alone out there, and there's lots of mosquitoes, watching other moms do the same thing that I'm doing. If we haven't met before, I'm Adeline. This is Think on Such Things. So we just do mom life. Lots of homeschooling stuff, cooking stuff. I like to find ways to stretch a buck, so there's a lot of that you'll see too. But here, today, it's cooking. Let's go ahead and see what we're going to eat this week. So this week, I had a $3 off coupon if you spent $10 on ground beef. So I ended up buying 6 pounds of ground beef, which I thought was going to be too much, but my husband does this keto diet, so it ended up not being a crazy amount of meat. And this first meal that I made was a Philly cheesesteak casserole, and it was so good. I really enjoyed this casserole because it was all made within my cast iron skillet, and I just browned up the ground beef with salt, pepper, and Worcestershire sauce. And then I got some potatoes ready with this bagel seasoning that I found from Aldi's and some canola oil, just to roast them in the oven. I always love roasted potatoes. Since we had a baby 3 months ago, I stopped buying the russet potatoes because these ones I don't have to really wash, which is amazing. I put the cream cheese on the meat while it drained so that the cream cheese started to soften, and then I sauteed my veggies, which was just half an onion, a pepper, and mushrooms with salt and pepper and garlic powder. And then I just dumped the meat in and mashed it all together and topped it with cheese. And tossed these in the oven with the potatoes for about 20 minutes or so until the cheese melted. It was about 400 degrees. And then I am kind of a sucker for the bagged veggies. I wasn't a huge fan of these ones because they were already flavored, and for some reason there was not very many Brussels sprouts, but we topped our potatoes with sriracha mayonnaise and it was amazing. A quick lunch snapshot: we have apples, turkey sandwiches, veggies and dip, and chips and salsa. And on to the other 3-pound log of ground beef. I decided to make chili. However, I only had one of those packs, which is, for 1 pound of meat. So I just looked at the ingredients that they had on the back and decided to add a bunch of all of it to the meat as it cooked. And it turned out pretty good. Once I drained the meat, I went ahead and chopped up all the veggies. We've got tons of zucchini and the crooked neck squash, and I like a lot of veggies in my chili, so I just sauteed them in the pan for a little bit with some salt and pepper. And these are all the cans that I put in, plus the bouillon cubes. And I just fill my cans up with water once I dump them all in. It's just an easy way for me to get all of the good flavor out of the tomato cans, and it's easy. So that's what you're seeing me do here. And then I add the meat back in, give it a good stir, and toss in a couple bouillon cubes. It turned out really good, especially, the longer it sits, the better it gets. It was a good meal for a couple of days. We all really enjoyed it. On on this night, I pushed the easy button and grabbed my pre-prepped freezer English McMuffins out of the deep freeze, and I microwaved them in between some wet paper towels and just made some hash browns to go along the side, and I made a really yummy cucumber and tomato and dill salad that was so delicious. And this was all ready in like 15 minutes. It was so awesome. Then for lunch the next day, we just had tuna salad on whole wheat wraps with pepper jack cheese, some fruit, and veggies to dip. And this next dinner was special. My husband had picked out some sirloins that he wanted me to make. So I made some quick grits on the side. I usually get them started first, and they're just such a wonderful addition to a meal. It's like, if you haven't had grits before, you really need to have them. Usually I have cheddar cheese and all different kinds that I add, but this time I only had Parmesan, and they still turned out so good. They're almost like a mix between mashed potatoes, oatmeal, and macaroni and cheese, and they're so good and so very versatile. We served this meal alongside some steamed cauliflower. My husband and I had steaks with mushrooms, and the kids, I just made these little pigs in a blanket with the pizza crust we had. I hope this video brought you some inspiration to your kitchen, or maybe it was just a good way for you to unwind. Either way, I hope you come back next week and check out what we're eating. And until next time, blessings, friends.